Hey, welcome to video 3 of our 4-part series, kind of a breakdown of what I was able to kind of gather from Inman Connect. This is Thursday, the final full day of the conference, and here's a few things I picked up today. We had an awesome leadership panel early in the morning. You had Ryan Schneider, who heads up Realogy, which is all the Coal Banker, Century 21, ERA, all those people. Tammy Bunnell, who runs Exit Realty, and Adam Contos, the CEO of Remax. And so I found one takeaway from each of these leaders to kind of deliver for you. Tammy Bunnell of Exit Realty, she kind of left us with this thought that everyone needs their dirty dozen. And these are people that keep you connected to your community. It could be vendors, it could be local politicians, it could be people, industry leaders, but they're people who can let you know what's happening. So you're always that source of information, the dirty dozen. For Adam Contos, talking about leadership, he said, you got to be what you want to see. So not only is there digital transparency in our business, but there's personal transparency in who we are as leaders. Ryan Schneider, the CEO of Realogy, had this to say: everyone needs an elevator pitch self-development plan, because without one, you're just saying you do not need to get better. We had some big hitters in the morning. There was Stephen Schwartzman, who heads up Blackstone. His personal net worth is somewhere in the $17 to $18 billion. But also we had Joe McClain. Joe McClain is a money manager for athletes and entertainers. And he's not an agent. He's not a manager per se, a business manager. He's a money manager. And he was part of the conversation because everything he does is building these relationships. And he had this to say: if your client senses that you're worried more about your needs than their needs, trustworthiness declines dramatically. That's true. My favorite session of the morning was CEO of HomeLight, Drew Ewer, and he titled his presentation, "Don't be the app, be the app store." To put this into context, if realtors had apps, the first app in the old days would have been Home Search. You had to go to a realtor to look for the open available inventory. Well, that's not the case anymore. So that app can, when it's no longer useful, just kind of gets pushed to the wayside. The second app that realtors had was home valuation. You had to go to a realtor to get a CMA. Well, that kind of changed in 2007 or 8 when Zillow decided to make those things public instead of just for lenders, and now home valuations are all over the internet. That app is no longer useful, so it's just pushed to the wayside as well. And the final thing, the final app that realtors bring is the ability to do listings and list properties. Now that's still a very important app that realtors have that they deliver to the consumer, but they've got these iBuyers and other kind of competitors and prop tech companies nipping at their heels. So that one could be on its way out, but you can see what happened to the first two. When it came to home valuation and home search, those tools that the agents provided just aren't necessary anymore. Here are 5 apps that you should have in your store that you can pull out and use whenever you need to with consumers. Your first app in your app store is going to be Home Financing with Certainty. Now, this is going beyond the traditional lenders, but there are lots of new companies coming up in this space, and Ribbon's one of them, that have a different path, right, to the funding process. So have the traditional stuff, but also have these other new tools, right, as part of your app store. The second app in your app store is going to be Creative Down Payment Assistance. There are companies like Divvy and Zero Down who help consumers get into properties without having to come up with that down payment, which makes it much easier for them to get into that housing market. Your third app in your app store is going to be iBuyers, right? Could you at a listing presentation bring the iBuyer offer with you as part of your entire package? Absolutely. In fact, many agents are doing that today. So that's something you keep in your store, the app being the fact that you know how to procure and how to really, most importantly, break down the iBuyer offers so that the consumer has this full breadth of information and they can make the choice that's right for them. App number 4 in your app store is going to be these home trade-in options. There are companies like Fly Homes and Orchard that help sellers actually kind of stay in their home. They help them acquire the new home, so it's a much more easy and seamless transition from one to the other without having that, oh my gosh, I've closed on this house and I've got a moving van waiting, but I can't close on my new purchase, and so all that stuff kind of disappears. You're the one that provides this information, right? That's a valuable app to a consumer. Another app in your app store could be liquidity without having to move. There are companies, Point and Unison come to mind, and you can go to these websites and check them out, where they will actually let homeowners pull equity out of their property without having to obtain financing and have a monthly payment, which generally the reason they're pulling equity out is because they got some sort of situation where they don't want to have a monthly payment. What they do, in essence, is trade a small percentage based on how much equity they're pulling out of the ownership interest in the property. So when they sell the house at a later date, they're going to pay that back that way. So I hope that analogy makes sense, right? The apps of the old time are gone. The apps of the old time, home search, home valuation, and even the listings, which is kind of being threatened. But the new apps, these other new technologies, learn them, embrace them, and make them a part of your app store so that you're always on top of your game. And to wrap up Thursday, I visited some of the companies that caught my eye in Startup Alley. This is where I saw for the very first time, Startup Alley is where I saw Happy Grasshopper, I think 2010 or 11, in San Francisco. So I'm always on the lookout for something that might bring value or maybe has some legs that can gain traction as it's moving down the path to hopefully success. The first one I want to talk about is Broker Assist. Broker Assist was a new kid on the block in Vegas, and now they're a startup in Startup Alley, and they're talking about how to stay connected for referrals. It's a referral connection network. It also has built into the software ways to connect internally on the referrals, maybe help out on certain tasks with a referral you've sent to another broker or your referral you're working on. But it's this really end-to-end solution to help agents manage referrals. So that's called Broker Assist at brokerassist.com. The next one that caught my eye was Ziyah.com, ZYYAH.com. I don't know why it's called that, but if you go to ZYYAH.com, you can check it out. And what they're trying to do is really broaden the connection, strengthen the connection between the consumer and the agent, not only up through the sale of the home, but after the sale of the home, by keeping a network of vendors and services and really kind of creating a platform where the consumer and the realtor still kind of connect together when they need help with things. And so it's really a way to stay tight to that database and at the same time provide some real value, right? Helping their consumer out when they need it. So I thought it was interesting. I've got to look at this one closer, but it's ZYYAH.com. I'm going to go with Ziyah.com. And the third that I found in Startup Alley that really intrigued me is called Safe Showings. And it is exactly what you think. It is an app designed for showings and open houses to really help make things safer for agents. The app includes taking a photo of the consumer who's getting the showing or coming into the open house. It has safety alerts if those are necessary. It's just got everything built into one app to make it safer when agents are out in the field. So that one's called Safe Showings at safeshowings.com. There were many other companies there. Don't be afraid to head off to Inman.com because I think they're going to give you access to all the vendors. If you just click on Inman Connect New York 2020, they show you who all the sponsors are. So go through Startup Alley and see if there's anything in there that interests you. And that really wraps up what Thursday was like here. Tomorrow we have a half day from 9 to 12, but it's my favorite day. It's Capital Connect. It's all about the money. It's all about what's happening. We're going to get some great analytics and data and stuff that I can share with you. That video will be shot probably at the airport tomorrow as I'm headed back to Tampa. I will have that one out to you on Monday. But boy, if you've stuck around so far with 3 series, I really appreciate it. The 4th and final wrap-up video will be on Monday. And I can't wait to get back to Tampa and hopefully be in a workshop or a one-on-one with you soon. Thanks. Bye.